following content is provided as educational and entertainment purposes only. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments, as I am not a financial advisor. Any and all content provided by me contains my own speculative opinion on the market. As such, this content should not be used to make trading or investment decisions. The market is extremely volatile, and the decisions you make should be based on your own due diligence. If you should make a trade or investment decision based off the speculative content that I provide, this disclaimer relinquishes me from any and all responsibility legally. Past market performance is not indicative of future market results. Trading at any market is extremely risky, and you should conduct your own research and analysis prior to making trading or investment decisions. Happy Friday, everybody. Well, welcome back to Blackfire Technical Analysis. It is Friday. Hope everybody had a decent week leading into the weekend. It's a nice, unusually cool night here in Ohio. I am enjoying the weather, and tonight's stream is going to be a little bit on the quick side because I have some plans. I do apologize that the stream is a little later than usual. I had to go to a completely different city to pick up my car from the shop. They do this thing where you can pick it up at nighttime and all that stuff while they're closed, drop box, blah blah blah. So I had to travel and get my car. It is fixed. It's back. Yay! But we are here, and we are going to just go ahead and kick it right off with NASDAQ as usual. Bouncing off that red 10 simple. Again, I still believe that price action continues onward and upward with this one here. That little bit of a pullback that we saw in yesterday's candle closure, or excuse me, the 7th. What day was that? Today's the 10th. Holy crap. What day was that? The 7th? There's no way. How does that make any sense? Alright, I'm ultimately confused. Does NASDAQ not trade on Fridays? I guess it doesn't. I guess it doesn't. That's a little confusing to me. I do apologize. I did not realize that NASDAQ didn't trade Fridays. We don't have a Friday candle closure on this one, so that is a little weird here. The 8th was Thursday. Just checking my calendar. No candle for the 9th. That is weird. That is definitely a weird thing. Let me take a look at something else here. We got a candle for the 8th. Am I tripping or something? Someone try to explain that to me. Do traditional markets not trade on Fridays? That makes no sense. Markets are open Friday, so why don't I have a Friday candle? That is definitely a strange thing to see here, but I guess it is what it is. We're gonna call this Thursday's candle closure. Oh, it's Saturday. I'm tripping. I'm the one tripping. I haven't even drank that much yet. I'm the one tripping. It's Friday now. Come on, Corbin. Come on, Corbin. No, it's still the 8th. Yesterday was the 9th. There was no candle for the 9th. So I'm not tripping. It is what it is. We'll figure that out later. For now, we'll just go off of what we have. We actually saw Thursday's candle closure. Close a little bit above pretty new all-time highs for NASDAQ here. I do like that call, or that signal, whatever. We do have a little bit of a bounce off the positive slope exponential here. Still remaining in the bullish control zone here. I do like that we're seeing a little bit of support within this region. Basically confirming this region here as support, a lifting price action. Further onwards and upwards here. Now, the only thing that I am concerned about is, volatility is, still contracting technically. Technically, volatility is contracting. Seeing some downside on volatility after a little bit of this expansion phase here. It just tells me that it's not, as violent as expected for a major expansion. It has nothing to do with, price action overall, but, the fact that the volatility is pretty weak right now tells me that we could be seeing a little bit of consolidation within this region here. That is definitely a possibility here, but the same principles apply for this one until proven otherwise here. The 1.414 still remains the resistance here. Any break, any candle closure above the 14,885 region, give or take a few bucks, the 2.272 Fibonacci extension target is going to become valid from my perspective here, somewhere around the 16,800 region. Again, give or take a few bucks, but that, it's something to be aware of. With that much space, it's not even a guarantee that the target could extend up to this region. More so, it's just kind of a tell that extension is probable, and if this is to be a target to the upside, I do think it would take quite some time for that target to be met. Again, long term, we could see some major ebbs and flows all the way up to that target being met. Again, if that condition is met. For now, we are still seeing that region hold as resistance, but we are seeing this one spot 272 hold as support as well. So, again, a little bit of consolidation while we're seeing volatility collapse, basically contract here a little bit, is basically my tell. Until a horizontal is broken or a major region is broken, that's kind of what I'm looking for right now, is a little bit of consolidation. We do see stochastics curling back up once again. See that? That's so fucking bullish to me. It's so bullish. This is the one outlier that I'm looking at from NASDAQ's perspective that tells me that this is just going to keep ripping to the upside. We're maintaining control, and we've been maintaining control in the bullish critical zone here since fucking May. That's a long time to be in the bullish critical zone. Obviously, we've seen spikes up, down, spikes up. A little bit of coiling here, down. Typically, when we see the critical zone like that, aside from a couple of instances here, like we see this example here where it's deep in the critical zone for quite some time here, a little bit less than a month here. But still, that's just a month. We're looking at potentially multiple months with the stochastics here being in the bullish critical zone here. Again, I do like this kind of signal. I do like what the stochastics is telling me. Basically, all this coiling is irrelevant to me. The fact that we're maintaining any kind of structure in the bullish critical zone tells me that the bulls are definitely still maintaining momentum and control within this market here. RSI, again, in the bullish control zone, a nice uptrend structure here from an RSI perspective, printing higher highs and higher lows. Not really seeing any of this bearish divergence play out at all whatsoever, but it is what it is for NASDAQ. Again, I'm looking for a little bit of consolidation for a little while, maybe see a little bit of cool down. But again, the momentum oscillators tell me up. The momentum oscillators keep telling me up, 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 up. So, it's either one or the other from my perspective. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but from my perspective, I'm gearing towards more towards consolidation or more upside price action for this one. However, if we do see a break of this critical zone right here, just below the one spot 272. Again, I'm looking at the horizontal for the prior low here. Any closure below that region, puts into perspective of a potential pullback all the way to this box area here. Anywhere within this box would be a target for me. Obviously, the top side of this region, this support here, right around 14,000, $50 would be my first target. And maybe it holds, maybe it prints like a macro high or low, because it is perfectly aligned with that green 55. I would look at that as a very, very, very valid target for this asset if it were to pull back, break that prior low here, top out a little bit. But it's not there yet. It's a little bit of hindsight trading. I'm just waiting for another signal, another confirmation to move forward with this one. So we'll move on to SPY futures, printing new all-time highs, closing above the one spot 272 Fibonacci extension target, which tells me expansion to the one spot 414 is the next viable target for this asset, right around 44.15, give or take a couple bucks here. That's going to be my next target coming into next week. Realistically, we do have another higher low. Is that a higher low? This was a low? Fuck that low. That low is irrelevant. That's not a major low for me. That's not a major horizontal from my perspective. If I were going to base a horizontal, it'd be right here, to be quite honest with you. And basing that horizontal, in comparison to this low here, it's a higher low. It's a bullish uptrend, and I'm going to be looking for extension until proven otherwise. We do see volatility, kind of strengthening a little bit. We do see the moving average for volatility still pointing pretty much up. So this does tell me that it is expanding a little bit. I do like that kind of signal. I want to see more expansion with upside price action here. Stochastics, kind of the same thing, curling back to a positive slope here. Obviously, the exponential is still negative, but if this one continues onward and upward to the north side, I would expect some of that coiling action like we're seeing on NASDAQ to start playing out here. Alongside of that, we are basically coming off of new highs. Where's the exponential? even highs, basically even with this prior high here, the one that I'm looking to be taken out. It's still very possible to see that price action, lift momentum, onwards and upwards, and it is what I'm looking for. However, if we start taking out this low, is it a death sentence? No. Kind of the top side of this box control zone here, right around the 42.50-ish region would be my next downside target. Maybe even the green 55. Again, we've seen the green 55 test and hold as support through many pullbacks within this uptrend region here for ES1. So that would be a very valid target from my perspective if we were to see some kind of break to the downside. But we broke and printed new all-time highs. I'm looking for extension, to be quite honest with you, on ES1. So we'll leave it at that one. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. There is something that I missed. There is something that I missed on Dow Jones here that I want to discuss here. So I was looking at this candle, and for some reason I was like, oh yeah, we printed a little bit of a new low. We didn't actually. We actually closed above this prior low here. Basically printing another higher low. I completely missed that. I do apologize. Technical analysis is never perfect. It is an art, not a science, and sometimes you miss things. Sometimes, with everything on the charts and all the noise and all the craziness going on, sometimes you miss little signals like that. But I did miss that we printed this candle higher than this prior low here, and that is very significant. And look what happened. Boom, low call here on the RSI. Higher low call, basically rejecting the neutral zone here and shooting back up towards the bottom side of the bullish control zone. I do want to see a higher high, to be quite honest with you, and I want to see a higher high that doesn't print fucking bearish divergence. But bearish divergence is possible. Bearish divergence could be a big possibility as long as we're seeing higher highs with RSI structure closing below this high here. Let's actually go ahead and mark that region off. If we see higher highs with RSI taking out this region here, bearish divergence will be negated. Definitely, that's a fact. Bearish divergence will be negated. It will not happen. But if we see RSI start curling down with any kind of top call, likely we get another bearish divergence drive, and that'll be a 3-strike drive. 1, 2 here. Here are your first 2 drives, and likely, more probably, statistically, I can't even fucking talk today. Statistically, we have a higher chance of seeing a bigger pullback as a result of a third drive of bearish divergence. However, that could very, very well equate to a pullback from the 1.272 Fibonacci extension level. That is the next viable target. We finally see new all-time highs on Dow Jones. That's something we've been basically pining for throughout this entire consolidation phase here for quite some time. Basically rejecting that resistance. It did, flash a little bit of concern for me from a bearish perspective, especially when we printed this top here and played out some bearish divergence. But we got new all-time highs. Dow Jones finally printed new all-time highs, so I do think this one is a little bit more powerful. We do see stochastics still deep within the bullish critical zone. Nothing bearish about that. Again, nothing bearish about it until we see some kind of pullback that forces stochastics back into the bullish control zone. I have nothing bearish to say on that. Price action on all 3 of those assets are closing above all major moving averages, all the moving averages more specifically, and closing on new all-time highs, and looking for extension to Fibonacci extension targets. So that's the general consensus for the traditional stock market from my perspective for right now, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave that. We'll go ahead and move on to Dixie, see what it's doing. Likely a pullback. Okay, and then, and this could be one of the outliers here to seeing price action in traditional markets, continue onwards and upwards. Now, we did take out this low here. That is a little bit of a sign for concern, in my opinion. We do have stochastics continuing further, below this break of the critical zone here. That is another tell that we could see further downside action from this asset here. RSI printing new lows, breaking through the exponential, which is now forced to a negative slope. 2 drives of bearish divergence, rejecting the bullish control zone for a third time. That's not a good signal from my perspective. I'm going to be looking for further downside price action as a result. We did see the red 10 simple break, and I'm going to be looking for continuation to the downside all the way to this support level here, right around the yellow 21 moving average, right around 91.90, somewhere in that region. And if that region breaks, then we're going to see price action likely trickle down to the 91.70 region. Anywhere below 91.70, guess what? I'm going to say it. Fucking bear market. Sorry, I get a little salty. I get a little salty because I'm being trained on what I'm being trained on, being trained to identify specific trending markets. And this is a trending market, yes, for sure, but it's not fucking trending up. Again, there's a lot of talk about potential reversal, right? Reversal in the US dollar index. However, we have not got the one condition, not even close to the one condition we are looking for, a structural higher high. Yeah, we have higher lows, right? We do have structural higher lows, but until we see structural higher highs print, I'm bearish. I am still, we've had a beautiful up run, right? It's a very tradable up run. And just because I say I'm bearish on this asset doesn't mean I wouldn't make bullish plays, right? Bullish plays still come out of bear markets. That's not the point. The point is that we're in a bearish downtrend, and the bears have control of this market at the current moment in time. And seeing this top call, to continue on to the downside, again, rejecting that major moving average here, that blue 377, that was the outlier that I was looking for potential continuation to test that prior high and likely see new highs being printed here. It's currently being negated right now. That is currently being negated. We took out this low. This is the last low here. If we take out 91.68. It's gonna be downside continuation, bear market continuation, more evidence that the bulls are not ready to take over. The bulls don't have the steam, and it's just gonna remain a bearish market long term. Again, anyone that tells me that this isn't a long-term downtrend is full of shit, because it's a fucking downtrend on a weekly time frame, and a downtrend confirmed on a weekly time frame, in my opinion, is a long-term downtrend. Take it with a grain of salt, if you will. Call me an asshole if you think I'm an asshole, but I've been calling this out for quite some time now, that we are still in the precipice of a long-term downtrend, and until proven otherwise, it will remain a long-term downtrend from my trading perspective. And again, the one region I'll call it out right now: 93.26. That is the target, right? That is the target to the upside, and we need to see a candle close above that region. We need to see a higher high, a structural higher high, right? Yes, this is an uptrend. I'm not going to take that away. This is an uptrend, right? This is an uptrend. Is it a long-term uptrend? No. 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 And you can't convince me otherwise. Higher highs and higher lows mark an uptrend. Structural higher highs and structural higher lows, from a conservative standpoint, marks a long-term uptrend. I see nothing long-term uppy about this at all. I might be a little harsh about my analysis here, but again, I'm very passionate about what I see and what I talk about, and what I see here is the potential to see the bearish continuation to the downside. Bearish downtrend. It's still evidence. It's still evident here, and seeing this region here come to an uptrend, and people were calling out potential long-term reversal here, but the point that we were looking for in hindsight, right? A little bit of hindsight trading. Say we get rid of this region here, right? Say we get rid of that region here. We'll just look off to the far right of the screen here, right? This little region here, this little high, right? We wanted to see this high take out this high for it to be confirmed as a change of behavior and reversal style, right? We need to see structural highs being taken out before we can say, oh, it's gonna, it's got the potential to be long-term bullish, right? But we got that rejection back to the downside. Yes, we technically did print a structural higher low. That much is true. However, we have not seen a structural higher high, and that's going to be the catalyst, in my opinion. That's going to be the catalyst that flips this market. This is the major pivot point that we're looking at for the US dollar index here. And until that region is broken, daily candle closures above that region, I'm not bullish. I am not long-term bullish. I'm not bullish overall. I'm actually still very bearish until that condition is met. So, for the medium term, you could still say that we're bullish on the medium term, but long term, fuck no, not at all, not at all, not at all. Especially seeing all these moving averages below the how do you call a long-term uptrend if all the moving averages are below 377? You can't, sir. Sir, calm down, sir. It's not a long-term uptrend, sir. It's not. It's not. It's not. All right. enough fun fucking around on that one. We'll go ahead and move on to Bitcoin. Bitcoin being a little bit boring, but confirming a couple of things for me today. We got a little bit of support on that blue 377. We're starting to see a little bit of consolidation between the blue 377 and the yellow 21 moving average, or this support, or excuse me, this resistance here at around 34,570, give or take a few bucks. Seeing a little bit that consolidation starting to tighten up more and more and more, right? Starting to tighten up. Something's coming. Look at the historical volatility percentile. Yeah, we do have a little bit of an uptick here, right? We do have a little bit of an uptick. That doesn't tell me shit. We are still extremely low on volatility, which tells me that a big move is likely to come. We do see stochastics rejecting the bullish control zone, continuing further to the downside. I don't like that signal. Looking at the RSI, coiling, right? Still not breaking that 50 read. Still not breaking that 50 read, and kind of the conditions that I'm looking for I'll outline above. A break above this region here. Actually, I would say a break above this region here, 35, we'll just call it 35,900, right? 35,900. If we see a break above there, I'll be looking for the RSI to at least attempt a breach of the 50 read. And if we see that, I want to see volatility expand at the same time. That's going to be your tell that we have some upside momentum possibly forming here. And quite the opposite, a break of that blue 377 or this low here, 31,500. Likely initiates a cross back down, and we'll likely see stochastic, or excuse me, RSI go towards the top side of that bearish control zone. And if we see that downside level break while volatility is expanding, that's going to kind of be your tell of, hey, that's your directional tell, right? Again, directions are not implied on volatility expansions, but you can use volatility expansions to gauge when a breakout or breakdown happens. You can gauge the strength of that with volatility. And if you see volatility majorly expanding on a break of price action to the downside, that's your tell. This likely has a lot more room to go to the downside. There is something else that I want to bring up from Bitcoin's perspective as well. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the moving averages, bring up the volume profile. And this is one of those indicators that I want to play with as far as an instructional video is concerned yet. I know it looks really convoluted, but just to put it in layman's terms, this is what we're looking for, right? The last major value node, right? VPVR is a volume-based indicator. You're looking at volume but sideways, right? You're looking at volume but sideways, and the higher value nodes are indicated by the purple and the blue, right? The purple being your sell action, and the blue being your buy, and then your lower value nodes down here and up here are your lower volume areas, right? And that's basically a tell of where most of the volume is coming in, where most of the buys and sells, longs and shorts, calls and puts, whatever you want to call it, that's where the volume is, right? And most of the volume here is your point of control, and we are below that point of control. The point of control is acting as resistance right now, which right off the bat is a significant read that tells me that price action likely comes from, much further down. But we're going to be looking at this last value node right here, which is basically perfectly aligned with this prior low right here, right? I marked it off, but you guys get the general idea. But the point of this is, right, when you see this level break, look at how much volume isn't there, right? And this is your tell, right? This is your tell that if this structure breaks to the downside, right, it's likely going to be violent as hell to the downside, right? Violent to the downside. Again, we have a lot of lower value nodes coming below this major structure here, and where lower value nodes, where lower volume lies within the structure, that's where I'm going to be looking for price action to completely destroy, right? I'm going to be looking for price action to completely swipe all through this lower volume area here. And again, marking little areas off, we can see some of these higher value, lower value nodes, basically marking off potential bounce areas. But again, we don't have a lot of participation and a lot of volume within these levels. Again, these levels aren't even historically that relevant because we don't have that much price action in the history of Bitcoin around these levels, right? So we have a lot of lower value nodes down below this region, and if we break that that last high value node here, that's going to be my tell. This likely gets extremely violent extremely quickly, and I'm going to be setting myself up for some major juicy shorts to the downside. Obviously, mitigating my risk as time goes on, maybe adding to it if it wins, chopping off profit here and there, so on and so forth. But looking at these lower value nodes, that's basically an obvious tell to me that this is the last leg that Bitcoin has if it wants to reclaim any kind of bullish structure. And if we see a break above the point of control here, which is actually the top side of this range right now, and we see a break back above that, then we test the point of control as support. That's going to be our tell that we could see a significant increase. That much is true, but we're below the point of control right now. We are using the point of control as resistance, and we are continuing to the downside as a result. So for now, that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Again, I'll mark off the major levels. I'll turn off the VPVR. Where's my moving averages here? The blue 377 is going to be my warning shot, right? The blue 377 is going to be the warning shot is fired, right? Something might potentially be coming, right? But the last warning shot that we're looking for is that point, not the point of control, the VPVR high value node. This is the last area for an extremely high value node. There is a high value node on this prior low here, but that high value node is significantly less high value than the high value node above it. So this is a very weak point from my perspective. A break below that blue 377. My next target is going to be the prior low here, right around 31,500. And if we break 31,500, we're going to be looking at potentially major price action to the downside. Obviously, targets are as follows. The first target to the downside would be 24,000, somewhere between 24,000 and 22,000. But again, this is a very low value node. So if this doesn't hold and we see this region break, then the next target to the downside is about 19,800. Anywhere in this box here, 19,800 to 17,000 could be a very possible target for Bitcoin to the downside. Again, given the basis of those high value nodes on the VPVR. So, Bitcoin, same analysis as before. Nothing's really changed until we see something break either to the upside or to the downside. Coming over here again, looking at stochastics, they tell me down. RSI tells me down. Bearish control for sure. We don't see any bullish momentum within the RSI. That's kind of the general statement for Bitcoin here. We do have a couple of requests tonight that I'm going to knock out real quick. We're going to wrap this up probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Vinco Ventures Incorporated. Nice little bounce off the Cyan 89. We haven't looked at this one in a few days. Back into this box territory, using the middle of the box territory or the red 10 simple as resistance here. I do like the bullish divergence call that's been pointed out here. Maybe this one has a little bit more to go, breaching back above the 50 read here, and that could be your tell that this is a major low. Not considering these prior lows here, it is a structural high or low from this point to this point, so that could be used in your analysis. Again, technical analysis is an art. It's not a science, right? So it's about how you perceive it and how highly probabilistic your perceivement is, or whatever you want to call it. We do see volatility is still pretty high. So while we did kind of like max out and begin a contraction phase, it's still relatively high from a volatility standpoint. So I do think a continuation to the top side of this range here is very possible, all the way up to $4.30 after this low here. But if we fail, if we hit a stop and reverse point here at $3.90 and take out this region here at $3.55, give or take a couple cents, I will be looking at downtrend continuation. I will be looking for a lower high to continue to the downside. And the first target, if we see that happen, if that condition is met, is the $3.30 region, once again, right around the Cyan 89, and likely lower, to be quite honest with you. But we do have a couple of good reads, right? We do have a couple of good reads. We do see stochastics crossing back up. What I want to see upside continuation while stochastics breaches back into, it's quite the opposite, right? It's quite the opposite of seeing the bullish control zone, right? We see stochastics in the bullish critical zone cross into the bullish control zone, right? Below that 80 read. That's your tell it, like, hey, maybe you should GTFO, get the fuck out, or open shorts, right? And on the other side, if we see bearish critical zone, right? We see the stochastics in the bearish critical zone, upside price action, forcing momentum to the upside back into the bearish control zone. that's likely a buy or a long signal, right? Or a close your shorts signal. You know, could be a very decent read. Again, I want to see more. I want to see more confluence alongside of that, and more upside price action alongside RSI printing that bullish divergence read, crossing above the 50 again. So we do have our targets outlined. We have our conditions, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave that one. We'll go ahead and move on. Piton down. Ooh. Rejecting the bullish control zone. Volatility is so crushed. It is so we're looking to get one of these pretty soon, right? We're looking at getting one of these pretty soon, and that basically is ultimate crushness. That is the 0 percentile for volatility, meaning volatility is lacking existence, right? And we see how close volatility is to the 0 read right now, just like 0.35%, right? It's almost 0% volatility right now, 0 percentile. We do see a rejection of that resistance here, closing below the red 10 simple, closing below the white 200 simple. That's a signal for me. The white 200 is a signal for me. I do like the uptrend, right? I do like the uptrend, and you know, we did print technically a higher high. So where's the last low? Let's look for it. Yeah, see, we could in theory see a pullback all the way to this one, all the way to this region here, 112.87, give or take 50 cents to a couple bucks. That's going to be my target for right now. We are maintaining above the L21 moving average, but with the way momentum oscillators are postured right now, that does lead me to believe that downside price action is a bigger possibility right now, especially seeing this resistance reject, close below the red 10 simple and the L21 moving average. We do see stochastics crossing again. We see stochastics printing a lower high and crossing back down into the bullish control zone from the bullish critical zone. That right there, again, I'm not your financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But if I saw that signal, if I was trading this asset and I saw that signal today, I'm out. I'm either out of my longs and opening shorts or just closing my long positions at this point. Looking for more downside price action. RSI kind of giving you the same read here, failing to achieve any more tests of that bullish control zone, actually just crossing right below that positively sloped exponential. With any more downside price action printing on this asset, we're going to see that exponential grow more and more negative over time, and that's just going to be your tell, more downside price action for this one. So I am a little bit more biased to the downside the way momentum oscillators are looking. Do we have divergence? We have fucking divergence as well. We do see a higher high right here, right? We have boom. Stochastics actually got this one pretty well right now, and I do not think that this bearish divergence is quite over yet, right? So here's your high on your stochastics, right? Here's your high on your stochastics and your high on price action, followed by a higher high on price action, but a lower high on stochastics. It's barely lower, but it is lower. Obviously, the more divergence between those two that we see, the stronger that divergence call likely is to become. But nonetheless, that bearish divergence is there. That much is evidence. The RSI actually did not get this call, or did it? Let's look. No, RSI actually did not get this call. RSI actually printed higher high after higher high, where stochastics was a little bit of a better tell on this one, printing bearish divergence. So again, just a little bit more evidence that I am looking for downside continuation. Now, if we see this low here, where is that low? Where did I have that low? Right here. Yeah, if we see this low right here taken out, we'll just call it $108, right? If we see this low taken out on expanding volatility, that might be ballpark right there. That might be ball game, right? To the downside. Major pullbacks to the downside likely is the result. But from the grand scheme of things, we do have a structural, higher high. This was printed as a change of behavior. There is still some bullish hope in my opinion. And, I'm basing all of these momentum oscillators off of the one thing that I pay attention to the most, and that's horizontal support and resistance, major horizontal support and resistance. So the major one that I'm looking at right now is this double top-ish region here with a lot of wicks on it right now and a lot of candle closures on it acting as resistance. We got that breakout, right? So this is the next major level that I'm looking for. If we see this level break, that'll be coinciding with a break of the cyan 89 and the green 55. That likely isn't a good read, in my opinion, for price action. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave Piton. I got one more, and then I'm going to bounce off of here. CX. Oops. CMEX SABDECV sponsored. Never heard of it. It might be shit. It's not. It's fucking bullish. Oh, bullish as shit. Whoa. Let's look at this one long term. Volatility is getting collapsed, right? It's typically a good thing to see uptrend continuation on collapsing volatility. Seeing higher highs and higher lows while volatility is collapsing is fucking bullish as hell. Massively bullish. It's evident that change of behavior is confirmed, but you know, long term, we're fighting that one. What I really want to see is this high taken out right here. This is going to be the next level that I'm looking for, to be quite honest with you. What are we testing right now? Actually, yeah, this region here, any closure above this region likely sends price action towards that top side region, top side level, maybe even a smaller target here. Yeah, we got some wicks there. We got some touches there. Currently below this region. Stochastics crossing, but you know, been coiling within between the bullish control zone and the critical zone for quite some time. Actually giving you a lot of false reads here, a couple of false reads, to be quite honest with you. This could equally play out as a false read and see price action. Oh, but we do see stochastics though, you know, reattempting that cross back to the upside, getting rejected back to the downside. Top call here. Top call here. Bullish divergence. Yellow 21. I go on a limb and say, you know, we got this bullish wick here. We're closing back above the red 10 simple. I'm going to be looking for a break of this region here, 8 spot 50. And if we get that condition met, I'm going to be looking for extension again, all the way back up to $9.50. And again, from a long-term perspective, I'm going to be majorly bullish on this asset if we see price action take out $10. Somewhere around $10. Yeah, I would say $10.20, give or take a few cents. Any closure above this high here, that's going to be a massive bullish read from my perspective. However, if we see a close below the red 10 simple, that likely coincides with this little bit of support here. Nice little liquid, order block region right here. So, you know, a lot of action happening on within that region here. Any closure below that, I'm going to be looking for price action to test the yellow 21 moving average or the prior. Actually, yeah, that would be my next region here. I'm not going to do any hindsight trading. Just kind of bullish, right? We're still in bullish control, so I have no reason to think anything bearish out of this asset right now. But seeing volatility getting crushed while price action is printing higher highs and higher lows on a nice basically parabolic uptrend here, bodes well for the potential to see, you know, more highs being printed on this one. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. This one actually went a little bit over what I was expecting. What I tried to get it to about 25 minutes, but I failed. So I think I'm going to leave you guys with that. Have a great weekend. And yeah,